If you're renting in New York City right now, you could be making $100,000 mistake. And I'm not talking about everybody, because yes, if you're not new here, you already know it's your girl Lizzztings, and I am a real estate agent. So of course you're thinking, oh, you want me to buy something. And everyone always says, well, it's smart to buy if you can. Well, that's not always the case. Actually, because I work with buyers and investors every day, and I bought my own place here, I am really able to give you a good deep dive into when renting makes the most sense here in New York and when buying would make more sense. And stick around to the end, because I'm gonna go through one situation where people just seem to get it completely wrong. So today we're going to go through the real advantages of renting in New York City, the real advantages of buying, and how to make sure you're not one of those people I'm talking about who make the wrong choice. So the benefits of renting: you have flexibility. It's easy to move from point A to point B. No long-term commitment. And for people with commitment issues, this is number one. If you know who you are. There's a lower upfront cost. So a lot of times, because requirements of 20 to 25 to 30% down are a big part of buying a condo or co-op in New York, that can be a huge barrier to entry. And I completely understand that. I went through that myself. I also have some tips on how to get yourself around that. If you'd like, hit me up, because I used a program that helped me get my down payment. The upfront costs for closing costs can also be a challenge. Of course, there's the lower responsibility. So people who also might have commitment issues don't want that responsibility of having to repair their own toilet or hire someone to come in and do so. And this is a big one for me here, and I definitely recommend people who are relocating to New York to rent for at least a year. I did not do so, but that's because I'm from here and I knew exactly what I was looking for. But the last but not least benefit of renting is the ability to try out different neighborhoods before you make a decision. It's kind of like the try before you buy. So having that lifestyle optionality, if you're not sure about Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, the Bronx, Staten Island, we can't forget about her, our redheaded stepchild. Did I say that out loud? Yeah. The optionality is a big one for benefits of renting. I definitely think that that's smart. Let's get into the benefits of buying. Renting does give you the benefits of optionality and low commitment, but it comes with a trade-off, of course. So when we look at the benefits of buying, number one, every time you pay that mortgage payment, you're paying yourself back versus a landlord, where you're never gonna see that money again. That's huge. It took me years to really understand that completely. This is a huge one in New York, the price stability. So my mortgage will not increase while everybody's rents increase by 4 to 5 to even 7% sometimes in New York City. So that's huge. I could be paying the exact same mortgage that I'm paying now 10 years from now, while you will be paying 10 to 20% more monthly and not ever seeing that money again. It's like burning it and throwing it away. Leverage. So having that long-term appreciation is helpful, and you have something that's building equity while it's not cash that can go in the stock market, and who knows what's gonna happen to it. Housing market always appreciates, so you don't have to worry about losing that money. You're able to control a large asset with less cash. We don't have a market where we're gonna see property values go down. And if you do, this is a buy and hold market. What does that mean? We're not buying and trying to sell in 5 years. You wanna hold on to that property long term. That's where you're gonna see those gains. And last but not least, there are some slight tax advantages to home ownership. So now we have our renting versus buying. What are the benefits of renting and what are the benefits of buying? In New York City, house hacking is one of the most valuable tools you can use in order to build that wealth, but also at the same time have someone renting out part of your property in order to build at the same time. Why is this valuable? Because you might be paying the same as you would be renting, but you have someone else living there in another unit or as a roommate. It's not forever, it's temporary. And this is where New York is unique. The house hacking market is the best game in the game here in New York. And what do I mean by that? Multifamily investing. If you're able to get yourself into a multifamily property and house hack, meaning you live in one of the units while the mortgage is paid partially or almost completely by the other tenants, you have the win, honey. You might be able to pay less than what you would if you were renting out a property of the same type or size, and you are getting the equity as well as all the other benefits in buying a place and home ownership while you have someone else helping pay that mortgage. So multifamily house hacking can completely change your financial trajectory. And if you want more information on that, hit me up. I'm happy to have that intro call with you. All right, let's get into the part that most people get wrong, the New York City truth. The main point I want to emphasize here is New York City is not a short-term buy market. So you want to think about this as a long-term play. I have this conversation almost every day with my investor clients who call and are interested in buying and immediately cash flowing or buying and flipping. This is not the market for that. And the reason for that is, number one, there's super high closing costs here. If you've watched any of my other videos, you already know if you're buying a property over $1 million, there's a mansion tax in New York. It's a funny name, but it's real. It's 1% right now, and that's about to increase by the million. So if it's going up about a partial percentage based on how many millions we're talking. It used to just be a flat 1% no matter how many. Now it's increasing. Number two, on top of those high closing costs, you are not going to be able to see appreciation work in your favor until about 5 to 7 years, even in the house hacking field. We do have slower appreciation, but there's a higher barrier to entry. So it ends up being a long-term game and a long-term advantage if you can hang on to it for that long. So in New York City, when renting is smarter, it's for people who are really not sure about their career and have uncertainty on that, have maybe a hard time committing to a specific neighborhood and not sure they want to stay or stick around in New York City and are a little bit scared. Maybe that is a good idea for you to rent. If you are planning on investing and you want to buy a property that you're going to be able to hold on to for 5 or more years, then this is definitely the place you want to invest. Because out in the Midwest, you can buy 5 properties for the same amount as buying one here. But are they really going to return the same investment? I don't think so, honey. And it's a lot more headache to have 5 properties than just one where you're getting the same amount of cash and appreciation over time. That's where you really need to narrow down your focus. Would you rather have immediate gratification, which in this world is understandable? That's what we live off of. Most people need to have something as a result right away. But if you're able to be patient and invest long-term, this is an amazing opportunity here. And the biggest mistake I see people make is choosing the wrong thing out of fear. So this is a strategic market and a strategic play. If you're renting out of fear because you don't want to take the time or invest in yourself to decide whether buying is a good opportunity for you, then that's your bad. And I feel bad for you. If you want it, you got it, honey. Take the time and invest in yourself to invest in your future and build that financial wealth just like I'm doing. And if this sounds intriguing to you, please let me know. Comment below, let me know what you think, and I would love to book a call with you so you can kind of explore what are the options for you. Costs nothing, and it's a great way for me to help serve my community here in the greatest city in the world. So if you loved this video and you're interested in learning more, I have a whole series on whether renting or buying is a good idea for you, where I break down neighborhood by neighborhood, what looks best and what is a better option, different types of properties based on what is available. Because here's the truth, this decision is not a one size fits all. So if you watch the rest of this series, you're going to see a little bit more of the breakdown on that. I'm going to break down if you're an investor versus a primary first residence buyer, if you're looking to live in certain neighborhoods, when it's best to rent versus buy based on a cost breakdown, and more. All right, this is Lizzztings signing out. See you on the next one, honey. You want it, you got it.